Hello guys, it's been a while since I've done a scrapping video, but I've decided it's probably time to start doing some more maybe. I just wanted to go into what I've learned over the last 5 years scrapping, and what mistakes I've made and what I've found to make me more money. And I think it really gets down to the question, what type of scrapper do you want to be? Do you want to be doing this as a little side hustle, as a hobby, as a job? How much money do you want to make? How much time do you have? And to be honest with you, as these years have gone by, I found myself with less and less time. So therefore, less and less time to do scrapping, upgrading, finding stuff. And I've kind of gone down to, I'd say, a routine, a certain way I scrap. Now, in the past, I'm going to be honest with you, I had buckets and buckets of all sorts of different materials everywhere. And I would, basically find every little bit I possibly could. And I just separate them to get the most money out of them. Well, maybe I was scrapping wrong, but not only did I not find so much of the items I was looking for, like just random stuff, like specific stainless steel and whatnot, but, just whatever it might be. And I wasn't really making money off that stuff. I realized, obviously, like most scrappers do, you're going to make money off the steel, off the aluminum cans, wire, copper. And I realized that I had too many categories I was separating. Now, this might not work for you guys, but it worked for me. I've got limited time. I still want to do it, but I don't want to make this a pain to do. I want to actually make money off of this and enjoy it. So copper wiring has basically gone down to me not really stripping it anymore. Get every last bit of copper wire I can, throw it in this giant bin instead of all these little bins. Then when the time comes, just pick a time to separate it and, make some good money. And over here, got a bin for just anything copper, brass related. And then once it gets filled up, I'm going to separate that as well. Aluminum cans, still doing those, not as much as I used to. I've stopped doing plastic bottles. I keep going on and off of doing stuff like plastic bottles, aluminum or just random stuff. And I've realized plastic bottles for me aren't worth it. They're too light, they don't pay enough. However, aluminum cans, I found places that will give me even $1 for a pound. So saving these up over time and then finally finding one day that you have time to haul them into the scrapyard has really made me some decent cash. And this is one of the things I've made a lot of money on. I put a lot of stuff in this truck, and I'm talking about a lot of metal. And what I've realized is that my scrapyard is pretty lenient. I can throw things from vacuum cleaners to coffee makers, stuff with a lot of plastic on it that would normally not be accepted by other scrapyards. But here's the thing. Does it really weigh that much to take up space in the truck? And do I really make that much money off of it? The short answer is no. If I filled this entire thing up with coffee makers, mostly plastic, which they probably would take anyway, just a lot of plastic appliances, things with a decent amount of metal, but just a lot of plastic, I wouldn't really be making that much money, and I never do off those sort of things. What I really make money off of is the heavier things. This is what you're going to be making money off of. Well, not really that vacuum cleaner, but I find them heavy enough and the scrapyard accepts them, so you run across them a lot. It's got the wire that you can cut, so why not take it? But this stuff, brake rotors, shocks from side projects I've been doing, even these cabinets and metal shelves and that sort of thing, control arms, car parts, these things are going to make you a lot of money. In steel, that is. So when it comes to these little things, yeah, you can pile them up, maybe get a whole bucket, or like maybe a bin, like I've done over here, of the smaller metal, because I really hate seeing it go into the trash. But a lot of stuff, I'm going to be honest, a lot of stuff I don't even categorize anymore. This is my aluminum bucket. Normally I don't put dirty aluminum in here because I honestly just throw it into the steel, especially if it's small, like some junky hose like this. I'm just going to throw it into the steel. But, I do separate, all the clean aluminum. But as far as it goes with dirty aluminum, unless I have a lot like this, I normally don't, separate it. Because for me, it just doesn't make too much money. Over here, those are worth separating, all these condensers and radiators, because you do make a decent amount of money off of them. And then it goes into the appliances. back then I would take these things apart and get every little bit there was out of there, every wire, every motor, and to be honest with you, it was not worth the time. It was fun, it was a good learning experience, but at this point I just want to have fun in what I'm doing, and I also want to make money, be efficient, and have time for other things. So with that in mind, I stopped doing that. And as you can see with this one, I obviously have opened it, but it's been easy things. Open this up, grab a little motor, open this up, grab some transformers, clip a few wires, but that's it. I'm not really interested in getting all those circuit boards out, which you can be if you want to go after those circuit boards, but generally speaking, I don't make too much off circuit boards, and you can't find too many places that actually take those in. So there's with that, appliances like that. And let's say take this vacuum cleaner, for example. It does have a motor, and this is why they let you throw it into the tin tray. It does have a motor in here. And I used to take these apart just for the motor, but I would be left with all this junk on my hands that I could have just thrown in the steel bin. And that becomes a pain. And then just a lot of these other things, like, I don't know, like motors like that kind of sketchy, that they might not take it, it's got too much plastic on it. I usually don't save too many motors unless it's something big like this that's worth carrying. The problem I find is a lot of the little stuff I have to load in the back of the truck takes forever to unload, and it really just becomes a pain, especially when you might only get like $15 at the end. So it's up to you, but if you're limited on time, I'd find a small scrap pile that you can just throw all your big stuff in. They don't have to be picking up little screws and stuff and wasting all that time. If you want, you can have a bucket for smaller stuff, but I would not go after it, to be honest with you. There are also other things you can make money off of, like, for instance, these transformers. Sometimes there'll be aluminum wires in there. Sometimes there'll be copper, but for some transformers, you just need to take a hammer, whack at the seams, and then what you're going to end up with is coils of either aluminum or copper. I usually take those apart regardless because they're very easy for me to take apart. I can do them pretty efficiently, so why not? So really, that's kind of where it's gone at this point. Maybe I'll have like a couple days in a month to dump this stuff out, but I've realized that I really haven't made that much money from scrapping, and if you don't do it at a professional level, you probably won't make that much money off of scrapping. In fact, you probably won't make very much at all. In fact, these last 5 years I've probably only made, I don't know, probably $1,200, $1,300. That's not very much. So I've changed the way of thinking on this. More like, save up what you know you're going to make money off of. Like big things. Make sure you separate them well. Don't get over picky about, oh, look, this has a little aluminum. If you can take it off, take it off. But if not, is it really worth your time? Because what I've discovered is a lot of things aren't worth taking apart. You got to decide what's worth your time. Obviously, if you find a vacuum cleaner like this that you can take to the scrapyard and get money off of, clip the cord right away. That should be pretty natural for a scrapper to do that. But if it's something that's just going to take a lot of time, like say these, like, oh, they're metal and I have to whack them out, it's just not worth the time. You will find, I mean, I know a lot of people will be like, oh, but you have to, but you will find that a lot of this stuff is just not worth messing with, and you'll realize that after a while. I mean, if you want, you can go after these things, but I'm telling you, if you focus on the little things like micro scrapping, unless you like doing it, you're not really going to make that much money off of it. So those are just a few of the things I've learned. I'm not too big into it anymore. Obviously, this is very unnatural of me to have this much scrap at a time, but I really haven't been able to make it out to the yard, which kind of goes to prove my point that I just don't have too much time anymore. I want to keep on doing this. I want to make money, but you know, you really got to know what's worth your time. And here are some of the last tips that took me a while to learn. Don't spend money on tools you don't need. A few basic tools, some screwdrivers, maybe an electric powered something, a drill, wire cutters, anything like that. These aren't wire cutters, but they'll do the job. Things like that, just basic things that'll help you upgrade your scrap. That's more than enough, really. Unless you're doing this on a professional level, but for the most part, you're not going to need a whole lot of stuff. And then lastly, be a good scrapper. If you are, say, dumpster diving, which is technically what you're going to be doing most of the time, unless you're going around picking up scrap from business connections and that sort of thing, please keep the dumpster area clean. In fact, just so people see you there digging through the dumpster, if you see a few bits of trash that are already around the dumpster, just clean it up. It'll make it look better than you found it. And that's really the model of a lot of scrappers. And really that goes a long ways, because if someone sees you digging through their dumpster, throwing trash everywhere, and you're just chucking stuff out and scattering it and being all weird about it, try to look professional at diving a dumpster. Open it up. Don't be throwing trash everywhere. Clean up after yourself. Make it look better than before. Be professional. And another tip on how to be a good scrapper: when you get to the scrapyard, do exactly what that scrapyard wants you to do. If their standard is nothing on clean aluminum, like no screws, no plastic, no nothing, like zilch, like that's what I'm going to bring. Bring a bucket of that stuff. I'm going to make sure there's nothing on it whatsoever. I want things to flow smoothly at the scrapyard. Because if you're doing everything they want you to do and you come there often, believe me, they'll let things slide. They'll give you better prices. Believe me. Like, I remember one time where I brought in a whole tray of just junk. I was trying to organize. It wasn't very neat. And the guys just looked at each other and they just threw it all in the steel because it was a bunch of junk. Tiny little piles of stuff that didn't matter. Focus on the stuff that matters. Separate it very well. Those guys want to get stuff in and out as fast as they can. I'm sure you do too. Everyone wants to get a good price. Everyone wants to go home on time at the end of the day. Have it all neat, ready, organized. So that way once you get to the scrapyard, put it on the scale, move, move, move. Clockwork. That's what everybody wants. So just do that, and then after a while you'll realize, hey, everything's organized. I have time to do other things. I make more money when I scrap, and I enjoy it. So, thank you for watching. I hope you guys liked this video. If you want to see more of this stuff, just comment down below, and have a great rest of your day.